mean, how does that compare to the wins you've had as Sydney coach, given you were down 25-7 midway through the first quarter to win? How does that rate in your coaching career with the Kings?
Well, given our circumstances, I guess, it's really rewarding. It's great to see the guys get a reward for their effort, because I keep saying it, I'm sure not too many people believe me. They probably think it's just rhetoric in trying to say the right things, but these guys have been working their tails off. They've been really, really applying themselves on the practice court, and our form in practice was really good. We felt we had a tough one 2 nights ago against New Zealand, and in that first bit, just had a sense that perhaps it's just getting a bit too hard. But as we called a timeout and we spoke about it, we made a couple of subs, and it was more the energy and the effort and the urgency we needed on the defensive end. And even with that, like I said to the guys after, they keep proving me wrong, because I keep saying if you've got to score 100 to win, you're going to lose most. And so we've got some improvements to do, but I thought Trice was really extraordinary tonight. He set the tone from the start. We got them at Trice at his absolute very best, and he's a super player. And fortunately, we've got a super player in Jerome Randall, and we had Jason and Toddy play extraordinarily well. Perry, after a shoulder injury, is starting to get back to the old Perry that we know. And I like the way we got contributors from a lot of people, and it is great to have a win. Enjoy Christmas, and then back to the reality of being 5-13.
Did you fear? You just touched on it there. Did you fear the worst at 25-7? That you did think that is it all too hard here, or games have a funny way of balancing themselves out? Don't they?
Yeah, they do. Certainly, there were some concerns. That's an understatement, but there was, unlike other times when we've dug ourselves some holes, there was, my emotions are gauged very much by the way I read the team. And I saw the way the guys were still huddling up, still had a bit of belief, were still going through it, that I felt like that there was still a game, a contest. It wasn't like, here we go again, we're going to lose. It's a contest, it's a tough battle, but it's a genuine contest because our guys are still very much engaged. And we've got enough talent that you always know that we're going to get points. We've got some guys that can score the ball. It was whether or not we could hold them to a score. And they scored more than what we wanted or what we planned to, but fortunately for us, we were very good offensively ourselves and hit some big shots, and that makes a difference. So it's really great reward for our guys, and keep spirits high. Not that I don't know, Todd would probably answer better. Not that spirits have really been that low, but certainly helps to get reward for the effort.
What goes through your head at 5 minutes of the game gone, 14-0 on the scoreboard? When you're not playing, you're not winning games, and you're in that position, what do the players come back from that?
For starters, we can't come on the road and play a team like Brisbane and give up 14 points and not be able to, just in the first 5 minutes, we can't have that. We have a goal of keeping them around that 20-point mark, and to give up 14 in the first 5 minutes isn't good enough. But we sort of, as 5 after the timeout, we huddled up and we all sort of said we've got to pull our heads in. We've worked too hard to come out and give 14 points up in the first 5 minutes. So we sort of said it's going to be tough, but as I said, we've worked too hard, and it seemed like after that happened, it kind of felt like everyone was sort of playing a bit more for each other rather than defending on an island. We're defending. I mean, we obviously had our breakdowns, which is going to happen every now and again, but I felt like after that it was a bit of a wake-up call. But we can't have that wake-up call every game. We've got to be able to defend like we did in the rest of the game. Like, we can't have that start.
Drew, it must be comforting as a coach to have a guy like Randall with the ball in his hand that last quarter. I think he outscored him 29-16. Just down the stretch, he seems to make great decisions, whether it's laying it up or passing it off to an open shooter. It must be very comforting for you to have an on-court general like
So
that.
they had 16 in the last quarter?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, for
16.
Well, for the first time, the players have listened to me, I reckon, because in the last time out, the last quarter huddle, I said, the only way you win this game when you're 7 down or whatever it is you've got to hold it to a score which is realistic for us. Mm-hmm. And I said 15 or 16 is about the mark. Any more than that, you probably lose.
True.
So So I didn't know that, by the way, since you told me, so I should have known. But they actually achieved the goal that we set out to do, and it was the only way. It was the only way we was going to get some stops, and we were fortunate enough to do that, and we come away with a nice win on the road, which against a really high quality team. Their last few results, and even when they were losing early on in the season, they were playing really, really good basketball. So that's a high quality win for us, and given our circumstances, we're trying to set real short-term goals.
Was it encouraging that a player like Randall, when the game was on the line, he could have just kept going at it, but he found the shooters out wide.
Yep.
And
Jason.
Well, they're heavily guarding him because he's the go-to man.
Yeah.
He's very unselfish.
No, and he is. I'm glad he's on our team. As I'm sure Andre's glad that he's got Trice. But Jerome does things in a controlled and measured way. He's got an extremely high basketball IQ. Now, I'd like for him to cut down on a few of those turnovers, but sometimes with players like him, you've got to take the good with the bad. Because those things, when he sometimes gets himself in traffic, he makes spectacular plays. And the way in which he was able to get to the basket, he's 5 minutes before he made the assist. So he's 5 minutes before that to get us to a point where we're a point down. And then we go to him again. We go to him, milk him, they collapse on it. And it's just, these guys then are in a situation where they're so conscious of him because he's just reeled off 6-8 points. They collapse, kick out, it's just a matter of we can make him his shots. Jason hit a huge one in the corner. And then, of course, Toddy in the last one, Jerome leaves his feet. Unfortunately, Toddy was there wide open. He stepped right into it and it just looked, as soon as he let it go, I thought, that's in. It was beautiful timing in it all. So I think that it was good that we were able to execute in those plays, simple plays. They're not, it's just a double drags. It's not a highly complicated play, but we've got a player we can throw the ball to and say, make something happen. And he made something happen. He's a genuine superstar, and that is one of the better games. He destroyed us last year when he was in Adelaide. But I'm not sure that's one of the best games I've seen him play, given the circumstances and what he had to orchestrate.
Todd, what was the difference defensively for you guys in that fourth quarter as opposed to the first three?
I feel like sometimes we defend as five individuals rather than a collective five on the court. A team like Brisbane that have so much offensive power, we have to be able to help each other. And that first 5 minutes, we had guys jogging back. They were playing 5-on-3 in transition. They were just getting out and running. But once we sort of got together and said we've got to pull our heads in here, it's going to be a 24-point game, not a 14-point game. Everyone sort of started to defend for each other. As I said, we still have our breakdowns. Those things are going to happen throughout the game. But at the same time we're out there, we're actually playing for each other. And in previous games, we've shown signs that we can defend like that. But we have to be able to string longer periods of those defensive efforts together rather than the start we had.
Were you expecting bigger minutes tonight with some of the injuries you had tonight coming into the game?
Yeah, I actually did.
He's averaging 30.
Yeah, to be honest, I actually didn't really think about it. I obviously knew at shoot around that Jeremy wasn't going to play tonight, so we had Isaac step up into that starting group. But to be honest, I didn't really think about the minutes. I was sort of, at the moment, it's kind of just I'm happy to play wherever I can to help us get the win, because realistically, that's the point we're at right now.
So, Drew, what the Tyler's needed to just blow up overnight, did it?
No, it locked on him with 20 seconds to go in the game against New Zealand, something like that.
That last play.
Yeah, it was right near the end. It locked up on him, and then after the game, it was really sore. And then yesterday morning, it was visibly swollen. Yeah. And we thought, we'll come here, it might settle down. Iced it, and it was still very swollen this morning. So he's gone to have an MRI. The thing is, he didn't get a knock, he didn't get a twist. It's just something clicked in there. So there's a lot of speculation. Perhaps they're thinking, maybe cartilage. But I mean, they're just guessing. But given the symptoms and given the action, there was no knock or anything like that. They're guessing. So we won't really know until there's an MRI. But based on the physio's analysis of the swelling that's there, they're suggesting that he's not going to be ready in a couple of days. It's at a minimum probably a couple of weeks, I suppose, a week or so. But hopefully it's not. Hopefully I don't know. But we'll find out tomorrow when they have the MRI.
happy Christmas dinner in the Goes household, and mate.
I'm looking forward to getting back, seeing my family. I haven't seen them for a while. So say good day to Linz, Marg, and of course my kids and wife. It's going to be great. Give them a cuddle, and we'll enjoy.
Have a look under the Christmas tree, mate.
I don't know whether Santa's coming to me. I'm not sure I've been all that good. Some of the language I was using during that game would suggest that there might be some penalties from Santa, but we'll do our best and hope for the best. But hey, Merry Christmas, you guys.
Yeah,
Good on you. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.